Yo, what's up, y'all? Shout out to everybody, man. Welcome to the podcast with Soul. My name is Sean G. I run this channel. Make sure you go follow me on Spotify on the podcast with Soul, and definitely go follow me on my Instagram at the podcast with Soul. I want to welcome all of my new subscribers. Thanks for coming. Please share this video and give it a thumbs up. If you want to get in touch with me, my email is thepodcastwithsoul@gmail.com, or you could DM me on my Instagram at the podcast with Soul. This video is for the prosecution team from the Southern District of New York, who is currently prosecuting Sean Combs, case number CRM 24, United States of America versus Sean Combs. I want to speak specifically to Madison Smizer, who was the assistant U.S. attorney that did the direct examination of Bryana Bongolan, who was a government witness, a witness for the government, who came and testified at 11:52 a.m. on June the 4th of 2025. Ms. Smizer, this is in no way any kind of disrespect to you, but I just want to point out that when you told Judge Submaranian that the government, Judge Submaranian says, is the government ready to call its next witness? You said, Your Honor, we're going to call Bryana Bongolan. Bryana Bongolan came down the aisle. Bryana Bongolan went and sat on the witness stand. Bryana Bongolan raised her right hand and said that she was going to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. She took the oath that that's what she was going to do. After she took that oath, you expressed to her and you explained to her very clearly. I was there in the courtroom. I was in the overflow on the 24th floor. You asked Bryana, were you subpoenaed to come here and testify? Bryana said yes. You asked Bryana, have you been granted immunity from prosecution? Bryana said yes. You asked Bryana something to the effect, I may be not quoting it verbatim, do you understand that you cannot be prosecuted because you've been granted immunity? Bryana said yes. And then you said, Bryana, why won't you be prosecuted? How could you not be prosecuted with your immunity? She says, only if I tell the truth. And then you may have said, I'm not sure, but I know Nicole Westmoreland said it. What about if you lie? And she may have said, I can be prosecuted. Ms. Smizer, we later found out under cross-examination, and in your direct examination, let's stay there first for a minute. In your direct examination, right from the door, right from the gate, the first thing that you went to was September of 2016, when Bryana testified on the stand under oath with immunity, provided she tells the truth. Bryana stated that she was held over a 17-story balcony by Puffy. Puffy held her over the balcony. After he held her over the balcony, he took her and he threw her on the balcony furniture, Miss Smizer. This was on June the 4th, 2025, 11:52 in the morning. Then Miss Smizer, what you did, you asked, I think her name is Miss Foster. She's the one that brings up all the pictures and puts them up for everybody to see. And you told her to bring up an exhibit. And then you asked Judge Submaranian, I'd like to enter this picture into evidence. First you asked, no, you might have asked Judge Submaranian at first. I want to enter this picture into evidence, whatever the number of the picture was. And then the defense had to either object or say no objection to the evidence. The defense says no objection. Miss Smizer, you brought the picture up for the whole court to see, for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, for Bryana Bongolan, for Judge Submaranian, for your whole prosecution team, for the whole defense team, for the people, the press, and the people in the public. We all saw a picture that Bryana said was an injury to her leg with a puncture wound in the middle that she received as a result of Puffy throwing her into the balcony furniture, after which he had just dangled her over a 17-floor balcony. Miss Smizer, you went through, you asked Bryana, is this the picture? Did you send us this picture? This was a government, this was your evidence. You put this evidence up there. You asked her if this was the picture that she took. She said, yes, I took it. You asked her what was the date of the picture. She said it was September 26, 2016. Then I think Miss Smizer, she showed us another picture of her back. Her back was all red. Think she had on a neck brace. And if I'm not mistaken, the metadata on that picture as well was the same date, September 26, 2016. The same date, Miss Smizer, as the picture with the bruise on her leg with the puncture hole in the middle. The same date, Miss Smizer, that she said that Sean Combs hung her over the balcony, picked her up, and then threw her into the balcony furniture, and this is how she received those injuries and bruises. Miss Smizer, you were very careful and you were very meticulous in pointing out the fact and detailing that the date and the metadata on these pictures was September the 26th, 2016. Miss Smizer, Miss Bongolan then went on to say that Cassie this was at Cassie's apartment. And Cassie came to the patio door after he heard Miss Bongolan crash into the balcony furniture. And Cassie said to Puffy, did you just hang her over the balcony? Miss Bongolan then said that her girlfriend was there. One time she was smoking a cigarette, next time she was smoking weed, then another time she was pretending to smoke weed. Miss Smizer, Bryana Bongolan also testified under oath, under the protection of immunity of prosecution, provided she tells the truth, that Sean Combs, Puffy, came up from behind her and groped her breasts so hard that it left bruises on them. So, in two instances, Miss Smizer, Bryana Bongolan alleges that Puffy threatened her life and that he sex assaulted her. Two of the potentially predicate charges under the RICO, Miss Smizer. She told a bunch of other stuff. As a result, Miss Smizer, the witness that you brought, the witness that the government introduced, the witness that you direct examined, said that she has night terrors, paranoia, and she screams in her sleep as a result of this horrible incident, this horrible action that Sean Combs did to her. She has night terrors, screams in her sleep, and paranoia. Miss Smizer, you went on to do other direct examination, and we're not going to get into that. I just want to stick with this balcony incident. Then Nicole Westmoreland, here's all the notes that I took for your direct examination. Then Nicole Westmoreland came in and I took more notes. Nicole Westmoreland, defense attorney for Sean Combs, did Bryana's cross-examination. And right from the gate, the first thing that Nicole Westmoreland said to Bryana Bongolan is, "You have immunity right now." True? Bryana Bongolan said, "Yes." Nicole Westmoreland, "You understand that you can't be prosecuted if you tell the truth, but if you lie, you can be charged." True? Bryana Bongolan said, "True." Nicole Westmoreland then said, "Who gets to decide if you are lying?" Bryana Bongolan said, "The prosecutors," meaning you, Miss Slavic, Miss Johnson, Miss Comey, who is the other one? There's a couple of other U.S. attorneys. The whole team, the Southern District of New York, the Department of Justice. You guys get to decide whether she's prosecuted or not. Miss Smizer, it came out at the end of Nicole Westmoreland's cross-examination of the witness that you presented, the evidence that you entered, that the balcony that Sean Combs supposedly held her over from the 17th floor and then threw her into some balcony furniture, which gives her paranoia. She screams in her sleep and she has nightmares. Allegedly happened at Cassie's apartment in Los Angeles, California. Nicole Westmoreland very articulately and meticulously detailed that on September 25th, 2016, one day before the testimony given by Bryana Bongolan under oath, under the protection of an immunity agreement, that Mr. Combs was in Newark, New Jersey at the Prudential Center performing with Little Kim for the Bad Boy reunion tour. Ms. Smizer, the next day, September 26th, 2016, Nicole Westmoreland put up a receipt from the Trump International Hotel in New York City showing that Sean Combs, Puffy, hold on a second, I got it right here. Don't go nowhere, I got it. I got it. That Puffy, Sean Combs, checked into the Trump International Hotel on September 24th, 2016. The next day, September 25th, 2016, he was in Newark, New Jersey on stage with Lil' Kim. The next day, 2016, September 26th, 2016, he paid a runner's fee of $5. He ordered in-room breakfast, paid $210.31. Ordered in-room dining, $107.84. Ordered in-room dining, again, $102.77. Ordered in-room dining again, $340. Ordered in-room dining again, $21.57. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 charges attributed to a hotel room at the Trump International that Sean Combs was staying in New York City on September 26, 2016. So, Ms. Smizer, it is impossible unless we use artificial intelligence. But this isn't artificial intelligence. This is real. This is real life. It is impossible for Sean Combs to have been in Los Angeles on September 26th, 2016, dangling Bryana Bongolan off of a 17-story balcony and then throwing her into the furniture, giving rise to pictures showing bruises on her leg and bruises on her back, pictures that you entered into evidence for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury to see, for the whole world to see. It's impossible for that to have happened if he was in New York. Ms. Smizer, the government witness that you called, the government witness, Ms. Smizer, that you called to testify on your behalf, on the government's behalf, violated her immunity agreement, perjured herself on the stand, wasted Judge Submaranian's time, wasted the ladies and gentlemen of the jury's time, wasted all of the people of the United States taxpayer money in regards to the cost for this case, wasted your time, made you look bad, made you look inept, made you look foolish, Ms. Smizer, unless you knew about it beforehand and you was down with the story and you hoped that the defense wouldn't be able to catch you. Either way, whatever way it went down, and that girl lied on the stand. Now, Ms. Smizer, we got to keep it real, and we got to do what's right. And I want to share something with you. I want to share something with you. The federal court is on Pearl Street, but the New York State Supreme Court is on Center Street. It's right around the corner from the federal court, and engraved in the stone on the top of the New York State Supreme Court, it says this, Ms. Mizer, to the Southern District of New York, the entire prosecution team, to the Department of Justice, Attorney General Pam Bondi. True administration of justice is the firmest pillar of good government. The true administration of justice is the firmest pillar for good government. That's what it say, Ms. Miles, on top of the New York State Supreme Court. And because that's on the, I don't want to misconstrue, or just because it's on the front facade of the New York State Supreme Court, and this is a federal court case, that saying is still applicable, because justice is justice and injustice is injustice. Now, Ms. Mizer, that girl Bryana violated that immunity order, that immunity agreement. And what I'm expecting of you, and what everybody's expecting of you, all the taxpayers in this country, she needs to be charged for perjury, indicted on perjury, and held accountable for her actions. Ms. Mizer, we can't have it that the letter of the law is going to be held over Sean Combs' head, but with Bryana Bongolan, we're going to let that slide. It don't work like that. The letter of the law, she needs to be held accountable. Bryana Bongolan needs to be held accountable for her lie and her perjury. In federal court, under your direct examination, making you look bad, Ms. Mizer, she made you look bad. And nobody can change that. We can't rewind the clock. We can't cut and paste. We can't spackle and tape. We can't edit. We can't use AI to create a meme that this didn't happen. This is real, and it went down. And it went down on your watch. She played you. And she made you look bad. And let me say this here to you, Ms. Mizer. You younger than me. I'm 56 years old. I know I look good, but I'm older than you. See, integrity ain't never went out of style, Ms. Mizer. And what we do in life, our actions, our choices, and our decisions impact our reputations, good or bad. Even if at the end of this case, Sean Combs gets convicted and sentenced to life in prison or 30 years or whatever, you, Ms. Mizer, introduced a witness that told the lie on the stand, and all your colleagues in your office, they gonna all smile in your face, yay, Madison, yay. But in the recesses of their mind, Ms. Mizer, they gonna know that the conviction wasn't right and exact. And that a witness that you introduced, that you did direct examination on, and that images and pictures that you entered into evidence were lies. And that'll never go away. You'll live with that forever. And even after you dead and gone, when they talk about this case, They're going to remember that part. But this is how you fix that, Miss Miser. See, because we have the ability. We are the architects of our lives. We are the construction companies of our lives. Our choices, our decisions, and our actions determine our destiny. Now, the only way that you can extricate yourself, Miss Miser, and rehabilitate your reputation in your name, and to make a wrong right, is to bring charges against Bryana Bongolan immediately and do a press conference, and you do it so that we can see that Miss Miser on the other team, she on the prosecution, but she moneyed up. She real. She straight up. She call a spade a spade. She follows the letter of the law. That's how you get your respect back. So when they talk about this case 41 years from now, 67 years from now, 119 years from now, and they say, yo, this girl came on, this U.S. attorney came on, presented this girl, and this girl lied. You understand? Somebody will say, yeah, but that assistant U.S. attorney prosecuted her and held her accountable. That clears your name. And your name is everything. That's all we got. Is who we are and the words that come out of our mouth. Miss Miser, this girl got on the stand, Bryana Bongolan, and told a big lie. And a man is facing 30 years in prison at the age of 56. Think about that now. Think about the gravity of that. Think about it. What if it was you? And somebody did that to you, an American citizen. Yeah, this is Puff, and I know you want to convict Puff. That's fine. That's what you're supposed to do, and I ain't mad at you for it. That's your job. But it'd be better, Miss Miser, you would be more respected and held in higher esteem if you did it fair and square instead of cheating. Nobody likes a cheater. Let me share this here with you. In the context of federal court, prosecutorial misconduct refers to a prosecutor's actions or omissions that violate the law, ethical standards, or a defendant's constitutional rights, potentially leading to a wrongful conviction or an unfairly harsh sentence. This can involve actions like withholding exculpatory evidence, presenting false information, or making improper arguments to the jury. The violation of ethical standards. Prosecutors have a duty to act fairly and must adhere to ethical guidelines. Misconduct can deprive a defendant of a fair trial and potentially lead to a wrongful conviction. Misconduct can erode public trust in the justice system and tarnish the credibility of the criminal justice process. This is off of this is online, Miss Miser. These ain't my words. This is online. This is online. I make the best coffee in the world. My coffee be the best. I make the best coffee in the world. Miss Miser, the world is watching. The world is watching. The word is out. It's in the transcripts. I don't care what Nancy Grace say, what TMZ say, what Piers Morgan say, that other girl say. Man, what they say don't mean nothing. You was there. I was there. Your prosecution team was there. Mark Agnifilo was there. Tenny Garagos was there. Alexandra Shapiro was there. Brian Steele was there. Nicole Westmoreland was there. Maureen Comey was there. Miss Slavic was there. Miss Johnson was there. Judge Submarinian was there. The ladies and gentlemen in jury was there. These other mainstream media people, they don't be there. And even if they be there, they don't tell the truth. But you and I know what the truth is. And you know what you need to do. That girl needs to be charged. Bryana Bongolan perjured herself on the stand, and she needs to be held accountable. Sean G, Podcast with Soul. Peace.